Welcome back. I'm Atlantis Wolf, and today I'm going to talk to you about some questions that I get. I'm going to call it Ask Atlantis. I'm going to be doing this as a monthly webinar where I'll present a few ideas and I'll allow people to come in with their questions. So today I have gathered a bunch of questions that people often ask me, coaching clients or medical massage clients or just people that know what I do and they're just sort of curious about some things. So I put together a list and I tried to group them into things that make sense. And a lot of this is going to segue into 4 workshops that I'm offering at the beginning of September. So I'll just start off with the most obvious question that I get. A lot of questions arise around what is spirit? So in the shamanic world, and I'm a shamanic life coach and workshop leader, so I get a lot of questions about shamanism and shamanic ways and pathways and traditions. So in the shamanic spiritual community, what do you mean when you say spirit? So what we mean is the larger source of all creation, the larger source of life. So some people could say God or goddess, or they could say the one or unity consciousness. And the way that it differentiates is you can think of capital S, spirit, as the collective, whereas little s is the same as saying a soul. So you have a spirit, and your spirit is the same thing as saying your soul, your breath, your chi. It's the part of you that when you die, you know something has changed. So what is it that animates your life and animates your body? That's what we mean when we say spirit, little s. The big S you can think of as the big cheese, the big wheel, the great spirit, and it means all of us. So when we talk about all the spirits combined, every living thing on Earth, on every planet, and in the universe, when we think of that as a collective, that is capital S, spirit. And so it's a matter of how you resonate with that. So if it's easier for you to say God and get that resonance of meaning all knowing or all being, that's fine. It's all the same. It's whatever frequency is important to you. But just remember, it's everyone having a spirit, little s, big S, the collective. It's with all of us. One of the other questions I get is, okay, so what is intuition? What is intuition versus logic? So when you say follow your intuition or follow your gut instincts, what does that mean? And it means following that part of you, that spark, that spirit that's connected to everything else. So everyone is connected to every other living thing. And there's a way for all of us to communicate together. And that is what, when people talk about the unity consciousness, that's what they're talking about, that connection, that everybody is a piece of a larger living entity. So your intuition is sort of accessing that intelligence. And you access it through your body, which is where that saying comes from, your gut instinct. It's your intuition. What is it inside of you, in your bones, that makes you think about a decision and make sort of an answer go one way or the other? So if you have a feeling about someone or something, that's being in touch with your intuition. And you can practice that. You can practice how your intuition is talking to you, or you could say how your spirit is talking to you. So spirit might talk to you in pictures. You might get visions and you might see things. You might see guides. You might see spirit guides or animal guides. It could also talk to you in more subtle ways. It could just be a color. There might be a color that you perceive when something is good or something is dangerous or someone is coming at you, and you may perceive them as more of a color than a physical entity. That's one way spirit can talk to you also. So this intuition is something you can access, and it's through your body. So it's a way of connecting to your body and to that consciousness that's all around. Logic is your brain. So your brain is what's going to tell you what's the logical thing to do. It will analyze and tell you what's the safest path. What will keep you safe? So we talk about intuition and logic. We're talking about your brain, your ego that's keeping you safe, that is saying, don't make that decision because your life may be in danger. Go along with the tribe. go with the flow, go with the family. But your instinct might tell you, that's not who you are. You're someone else. You need to follow your own path and you need to go a different way. And those two things are always in balance. They're always talking to each other. Your brain is always talking to your intuition. Your head and your heart are always talking to each other. And the battleground is right here. It's your throat. It's your free will. So what you choose to say and how you choose your path is ultimately where your destiny lies. So although they're talking to each other all the time, your brain and your intuition, the way you speak to other people and the way you speak to yourself, that's what you are following. And if you want to change your life or change your path, you change your language. You change the way you talk about things. You change the way you talk about yourself and your body. You change the way you talk about your job or your family or the possibilities. That's how the dynamic of individuality and free will operate. So the question to you is, do you trust yourself? Do you trust yourself to follow your intuition, to do what's right for your highest and best purpose? For people who say, no, I don't really feel connected to spirit, I don't feel connected to my body, my intuition, my instincts, I always ask people for advice because I don't know. I don't know what to do. I'm always asking for, I call it a committee. I'm always asking for a committee to come and help me. Then you might be somebody who would be interested in getting more in touch with sort of the non-physical or the mystical side. So the first workshop I set up is called Trust Yourself. And it's about finding where your intuition is and how spirit talks to you and how you can practice connecting to your intuition. Practice asking yourself, what is the best choice for me, not for the social norms or not for someone else? What's the best choice for you? And again, you still get to decide. If you know the answer, you can still decide what you want to do. If that's something that's interesting to you, you can go to atlantiswolf.com/workshops. It's going to be the first workshop, Trust Yourself. The second group of questions is around power animals. I get a lot of questions about power animals because I see people's power animals around them. It's something that I have a natural inclination for, and it's something that I practice. So I practice it with my clients. I practice it with people that ask. It's not something I see when I'm just walking down the street because I have privacy issues. I believe in privacy. If you don't ask me about you, or you don't ask me or invite me to come in and help you, I don't see anything. I don't think about you. I don't go poking around people's shoulders and looking for the animals that are with them. However, if you ask me, I'll tell you. Now, the difference between a power animal and a spirit animal and a totem animal isn't too much. Some people can get into arguments about this, but in general, vast generalization, a power animal is the one that's with you for your whole lifetime. And it could be several lifetimes. This is the single animal that is trying to work with you to guide you to your highest and best purpose. Everybody has a power animal. Some people have crazier power animals than others. Most people have animals that you see walking around. One client that I have actually has a pterodactyl for a power animal, which is fantastic. One person has sort of this, something that looks like out of a fantasy book where it's stripes and rainbows and long, and it has wings and it has a skull head. It looks like it lives under the ocean. It's also very cool, and she's a very cool person, so I'm not really surprised. But when you talk about a power animal, that's usually the one that's with you for your whole life. It's the one that's trying to take the arc. What is your soul's purpose? What are you trying to learn this time around? Patience? Loss? How to handle power? Whatever it is, there's an animal that's going to come in and help you. A spirit animal usually comes in, on the other hand, with sort of more of a chapter in your life story. So, Let's say that your power animal is a sea turtle, but you start working with bees, and you see a lot of bees. All of a sudden, bees are everywhere you look. You see pictures of them, you see real ones, so you start thinking, maybe I need to work with bee medicine. So bee medicine is about miracles, because they're not supposed to fly. They do fly in the air, but they're not supposed to. So it would be something to look for. So maybe it's time for you to come up with something amazing and miraculous and dream a bigger dream. They also go flower to flower, and they never rush. So bee medicine would be a good example of take your time, go from each flower to the next flower in your life, and really soak up the juiciness of each moment. Don't rush. Take your time and enjoy the sweetness in life. That could be a perfect spirit animal for someone who's sort of lost sight of enjoying life and they're more busy. And you could be busy as a bee, and the bee would be a perfect animal for you. Your totem is the collection of all the spirit animals that are working with you throughout your lifetime. So just like you could imagine a Native American totem with all the different animals, these are animals that are going to work with you at different parts. Think of this as the whole group, all of them in a circle around you, kind of coming in at different times and helping you out when you need it. It's kind of like having a coach, like different coaches for different situations in your life. And they collectively are going to be sort of in your life, out of your life, but you'll see them and they will come when you need them. Now, one question I get a lot is, are power animals my pets? Is my pet my power animal? No. Your pet is your pet. That's a companion animal. That's unconditional love. They're there to support you. They're there to be with you temporarily, to teach you just that there's someone here, there's a living being here that loves you. Something that is in your life for comfort, for companionship, and is just focused on you. And that's different. And you can certainly work with different companion animals, but they're not power animals or spirit animals. That's something different. Think of power animals as the medicine of the earth. So the earth is sending an ambassador to work with you, to reconnect you to nature. And they're going to do that with a particular animal. So that animal will connect you back to, for example, maybe oceans. If you're someone who's very creative, the water element, the element of water, is all about creativity. We are gestated in water. We come from water. The earth is 70% water. We are 70% water. So if you're someone who's having a creative block, the way to reconnect with the creativity of the earth would be through an animal who lives in the water. And that may be something that you see. But in general, it's a way for us as humans to remember we are earth animals as well. We live on the earth, we're from the earth, we return to the earth, and we certainly have lost sight of that, which I think is why a lot of people are reconnecting with this idea of power animals, because they want a guide. They want help reconnecting with the essential and simple ways that we can move back to earth energy and earth medicine and heal ourselves by going back to nature, by disconnecting from things that are made by man, reconnecting to things that are larger than us. Anytime you go out into a forest for an hour without your phone or without any electronics, you naturally slow down. You slow down, you notice, and your heartbeat moves closer to the earth. Your feet move closer to a natural pace. You naturally slow into your natural rhythm. And this is true of anything, whether you're going to walk in the forest, you're going to walk on the beach, you're going to go for a swim in a lake. As soon as you return to nature, you return to natural rhythms. And your power animal can help you make that connection back to the earth, so that when you come back to everything man-made, like shoes and cement and cars and houses, it'll be easier for you because you have reconnected to your natural rhythm and your natural self, and you'll be able to be more yourself when you come back into the group. The workshop I'm teaching about that is, of course, called Power Animals. It's also atlantiswolf.com/workshops. And I forgot to mention before, the workshops are all 3 weeks long, so they meet for 3 weeks in a row. They're 90 minutes each, and they're limited to 10 people. The reason why is because they're workshops. We're going to work through for example, what are your power animals? How are you going to connect with them? And how are we going to practice so that after the workshop, you can keep connecting? Just like we're going to work on connecting to spirit and intuition. I'm going to teach you how to do it. We're going to practice it. But the goal is for you to continue that practice after the workshop and to learn some interesting things about yourself along the way, for sure. So the classes are offered during the day, during the evening, or on Saturdays. There's 3 sections of each. Therefore, you could decide which one fits for your schedule better. The next set of questions that I get are around weight loss, which is not something that people talk about. There's not a lot of talk about weight loss connected to spirituality. And I think that the reason why I brought it up is because I went through a weight loss journey 20 years ago, which my business partner told me that I need to find a picture. So for that workshop, I'm working on what she calls a chubby picture of when I used to be a lot bigger. But I used to weigh 210 pounds. And she said nobody's going to believe me. And it was right before I had my son 20 years ago. And I certainly didn't have a 50-pound child. So she said, I'm going to need some proof on that. So I'll be digging up some proof, but I won't be happy about it. So there's a lot of soul retrieval when we talk about weight loss, because we tend to move through our life and things that we can't handle have us moving away from how we're feeling because we're feeling terrible about our choices. And so we move away from our body and into our head, and we become a floating head, is what I like to say. So if you are, oh, one second. That might do it. Nope, one more time. I think my body's yelling at me right now. But if you think about how you would act if you were just a floating head and you ignored your body. So if your body is saying, slow down, rest, and give me time to recover, but you're in a position where you're in your 20s and you're in a new job and you want to achieve some goal that somebody put in front of you, and you ignore your body. So you don't rest and you don't sleep, and you go out and you drink alcohol all night and drink coffee all morning and think, I'll take care of my body later. There's a lot of people that get stuck in the sort of the circle or the cycle of, I'll take care of my body later. After I'm done with school, after I graduate college, after I get my first promotion, second promotion, first house, second house, first child, second child, it goes on and on and on. A lot of people take their body for granted. And as long as they wake up and they can abuse their body and ignore their body, that works. They don't really have to pay attention to it. But you talk to people in their 50s and they have their first heart attack, their first cancer scare, their first cholesterol scare, their first sort of moment where their body is breaking down. Because you can go on and on for a long time, and your body will, as resilient as it is, it will try and keep up with you, but it will break down. And a lot of times that turns into weight gain. And your body is just trying to survive. And since you're not really paying attention to what it needs, you feed it things that taste good because you're a floating head, but you don't give it things that it needs. Instead of saying, I wonder what my body needs right now. Nobody says that. They say, I'm hungry, what tastes good? And it tastes good for a minute, and then it sits on your hips for the next 30 years. People don't connect those two things. So the first thing that people do is they have to reconnect with their body. They need to remember that they have a body. A lot of clients that come in, when I put my hands on their body and ask their body, hey, how's it going in there? Their body feels shamed or ignored or hated. There are lots of people in pain that hate their body and talk to their body with language that says, my body disappointed me. I can't believe I can't run anymore. I can't believe that I'm always in pain. I can't believe my joints did this. I can't believe that I can't lose the last 10 pounds after my third child. And it's harsh. They talk to their body in a way you would never talk to a person, ever. But your body's always listening. It's connected to you. It's the same. And your body believes everything that you say. So if you say, I hate my body, how would you feel? How would you feel if you woke up every day and somebody said, I hate you? I can't believe that you are like this. I can't believe that you're so disappointing. I can't believe that you don't do everything that I make you do. While you're crying and screaming and asking for rest and a better diet and more sleep and to get out of a bad relationship or a bad job, it's hard. So the first thing that I do is reconnect people to their body. How's it going in there? What do you need? Reconnect them to food. You know, a lot of people think food is the F word, that if they control their food, they can control their body. It's not what it's about. It's about loving your body. And it's about asking with love. Hey, I don't feel comfortable. You don't feel the way I want you to feel. I really don't feel very much at all. So you have to come to a place where you reconnect with your body. I teach people muscle testing so they can test, because if they're not in touch with their body, they're not in touch with their intuition, they're not in touch with their heart, they're not in touch with their feelings, and they're not in touch with their soul, because the heart is the seat of the soul. So logically, they may think I can live on Diet Coke and salsa and chips, but you can't, because you're not asking your body, you're just ignoring it. And so the first step is come to peace that this is your starting point. This is a body you have, pros and cons. This is your starting point. Let's come to a place of peace, truce, make peace with your body first. Go through emotional release therapy. I walk everybody through and release emotions, because you may have trapped emotions around losing weight. There may be a program running in your family, for example. You're not allowed to be pretty and smart. If you're smart, you can't also be pretty. So you might as well just be fat, eat what you want. It doesn't really matter. Or you might have a different program. Oh, that's just the way everybody looks in our family. Everybody is Polish. We all look like that. So don't even bother. Don't try. We're all fat. We're all fat together. Well, then it becomes dangerous to be healthy, because if you get healthy and you go home for a holiday, people look at you like there's something wrong with you. Are you sick? What are you doing? You need to eat more. You look terrible. It's a very tricky thing to say, this is my body. I'm going to take it over. I'm going to take responsibility for it, and I'm going to love it just the way it is. So inevitably, the weight loss is not about a number. It's about the emotional baggage that you're losing. It's about retrieving your soul, retrieving your power. It has nothing to do with the size of your clothes or the number on the scale. It's something that happens naturally when you reconnect, when you love, when you touch your body, when you dance and you move your body, when you ask your body questions, and when you come to a place of peace. I have no idea how much I weigh anymore, but I know how I feel, and I know I feel a lot different than I did when I was 210 pounds. And I know for a while I weighed 126 pounds, which was the other side of awful and stressed out and not eating good and just being scared a lot. So you can go one way or the other, but inevitably you want to find that natural point. And I've been the weight that I'm at plus or minus 5 pounds for the last 20 years, because it's really about coming to a place where you're just at peace with who you are. That's your starting point. Not outside, not like when I lose 20 pounds, I'll be happy. When I get into this dress, I will start loving my body. It's right now. So the third workshop, that is all about weight loss and soul retrieval. And that's the same. There's 3 weeks, 90 minutes each, 10 people. I'm going to dig up my chubby pictures so that people can believe me, even though I don't have very many and I really don't want to look at them, but I feel that it's a way to say, yeah, that was me, that was part of my journey, and I do want to share it with people because I do feel called to help people who are uncomfortable in their body. It doesn't really matter what size it is, but if you're not happy in your body, then I want to help. The last workshop is called Pierce the Veil, which is no surprise because that is the name of the chapter in my book, Sacred Death with Hamali Vora, that was just published on Amazon. Amazon #1 bestseller in 3 different categories. So in there I talk about connecting to people after they have crossed over, after they've gone through the veils. They have stopped being a physical body and now they're a spirit body. They've died in the sense of they're done with their lifetime, but they are not dead in the sense where they're unavailable to you. So people who experience death, particularly a sudden death, immediately have a feeling of loss, gone. I'm never going to see this person again. I'm never going to connect with them again, talk to them again, feel their love again. And by moving to a place where you connect with people spirit to spirit instead of body to body, then you can move through the grieving process in a different way. So they transitioned from a spirit inside of an earth body to a spirit after they're done with their earth body, wherever you think that is. So you're used to connecting with them body to body, language, talking, lunches, whatever. So I can teach you how to just shift that over and create a space where you can invite them in and you can connect with them, but you're connecting with them spirit to spirit. So instead of picking up the phone, you create a sacred space. You make the sacred space somewhere that's very comfortable for you, and you invite them in. And once you practice doing that, you can do it anytime you want. So that changes the grieving process because they don't feel unavailable and cut off anymore. You just need to call them in a different way. You just need to practice reaching out to them in a different way. This is particularly easy for anybody that you loved. So if someone is actively dying and they're not able to speak anymore, this will work. If they've already died, it will definitely work. It also works with pets. So we were talking about pets, although they're not power animals, they had a connection with you, and you can recreate that connection with their spirit in the same way. You pierce the veil. The veil is that curtain between the 3D world, which we're living in, the physical bodies, the soul in the body world, and the luminous world, the spirit world, which is beyond the veil, which is not 3D. It's multidimensional. So the key there is that it's not something that only special people can do. It's something that you can do. You can do this. You can connect. You can connect with other spirits, but it is particularly easy to connect with someone you love. And since that's what the book is about, and that's what I really focused on, that's what the workshop will focus on, is connecting with someone that you love who's either maybe by timing actively dying or someone who has died. And it doesn't matter when they died. There's no time limit. Like, you can only connect with someone who died this year. It's anyone that you love, that you had a connection with, even if it was your grandmother and you were 3 or 4 years old. You still, if you really loved someone in your family or a friend and they're not here anymore, that's the perfect place to start connecting with spirits. So that one's called Pierce the Veil. It's also 3 weeks, 90 minutes, 10 people, so we can practice, like I said, and get really good at it. Each class is $125. You can sign up online for all of these classes. Each one is offered, there's 3 sections of each workshop. So you could take it during the day, you could take it in the evening, or you can take it on Saturdays. And all the times are Eastern Standard Time, New York City time. I don't live in New York City, but it's easy to keep it one time zone, and so that's Eastern Standard Time. If you have any questions, you can always leave questions in the comments. You can send me an email through my website, atlantiswolf.com. If you want to sign up directly for the workshops, you can do that from the homepage, atlantiswolf.com. If you want to see a little 1-minute video in each one, you can also do that, atlantiswolf.com/workshops. Thanks for listening, everybody out in Zoom land. I hope to see you soon. I think the next Ask Atlantis one is going to be somewhere around September 15th, and I'll collect more questions. So if there's any questions that you have and you want me to answer them on these calls and you're not able to come live is always more fun, but if not, you send me your questions, I'll give you my best answer. Thanks for listening. I'm Atlantis Wolf, and I believe in you. Bye, everybody.